Hey gang, it's Brian from FXBilliards. Today we are going to talk about everybody's favorite shot. No, not the masse shot, but the draw shot. I'm going to give you some tips that are going to help you improve your draw shot regardless of what your skill level currently is. I'm going to take you through this process so that you will learn everything from the short draw shot that you see on the screen to the longer draw shots to extreme draw shots. First off, let me qualify by saying if you have a choice as a player to play position with a draw shot or with a follow shot, you want to take the follow shot. It's just going to be easier to execute. You'll have more accuracy and you'll be able to get better position in many cases. And myself, just like many other players, I really love the draw shot. When you've worked on it and you have it down pat, it is just the prettiest thing, and it can be very intimidating to other players to see you shoot these draw shots. So we're going to talk about everything from those short little draw shots that you saw in the opening to this longer draw shot playing position off a rail to a mid-range draw shot. So sit back. I'm going to help you with 5 steps that will allow you to improve on your draw shot. The first thing we should talk about is what is actually happening when you shoot a draw shot. It's important that you understand this because it will help you in the execution of the shot. Regardless of whether or not you're shooting a 6-inch draw shot or a 66-inch draw shot, the same thing occurs. The cue ball goes down table, spinning backwards, makes contact with the object ball, and because it's already spinning backwards, that connection with the object ball sends it back in the opposite direction that it came from. It's important to understand this so that you know the longer that draw shot is, the more rotation you're going to have to put on that cue ball. So let's look at how you manage to get that rotation applied to the cue ball. The thing we're going to talk about is your tip. You should have a good quality tip with good quality chalk, and the curvature of your tip should reflect that of a dime. Some people shoot with a nickel curvature, but you want your curvature of your tip to be anywhere from a nickel to a dime. So as you can see by the illustration, the more curvature you have on your tip, the greater contact you're going to be making with the cue ball. Because the cue ball is round, you do not want a flat tip. This is important. The tool you see on screen is what I've used for years to put the right curvature on my cue. These are made by a lot of different companies, and I think they're outstanding. And in a future video, I'll show you guys an even better product. So once you have that curvature on your tip and your tip is in good condition, the next thing we're going to look at is your bridge. I get so much feedback about bridges because I always recommend a closed bridge when shooting a draw shot. Some players get away with using an open bridge, and if you have a very good stroke, you can manage to use an open bridge, obviously, to shoot a draw shot. I find personally that a closed bridge gives me a lot more power. It allows me to follow through better, gives me greater accuracy, and I just flat out clearly find it to be more advantageous than an open bridge. If you manage to shoot good draw shots with an open bridge, you should definitely go with that. Now, depending on your situation, even if you want to use a closed bridge, you may need to use an open bridge, as you see on screen, to get to a shot that is being blocked either by the rail or by another ball. So the bridge that you use is going to be important that it is solid, that it allows you to get to your shot, and is something that you're comfortable with. So whatever you decide to go with, make sure you're practicing different types of bridges, open and closed. Now you may have noticed that on each of the 2 shots that you just saw, the cue is being jacked up and you're not shooting with a level stroke. In 99% of your cases, whenever possible, you're going to want to shoot with a level stroke, and we'll discuss that later in the video. In the meantime, as we discuss bridges, understand that there are going to be times that you will have to adapt your bridge and your stroke to reach over balls and for special situations. Next item we want to talk about is the arm movement of your stroke. You should have a perfectly straight pendulum motion with your stroke, and your grip is key. As you can see in this close-up, I have just 4 fingers touching the cue. One of the biggest mistakes amateur players make is gripping the cue way too tight. Your grip should be a loose grip, which will allow you to take control of the cue without it slipping out of your hand, but have a lot of play so you are not putting a deft grip on that cue. Also make sure you're not tucking your wrist on the inside or outside, but have a perfectly straight stroke and grip. The next item we talk about could very well be the turning point for a lot of you. The key here is that you need to hit the cue ball as low as possible without miscuing. As you can see on the screen, I'm hitting the cue ball as low as possible, keeping as level a shaft as possible and following through. One of the things that causes players to not be able to execute a draw shot is their fear of hitting the cue ball so low. 3 things are going to help you understand this concept. 1, if your tip is round and you have a proper amount of chalk on the tip, it should not cause you to miscue. If you keep your body movement to a minimum, with the exception of your pendulum stroke, it will not cause you to miscue. And if you follow through properly, which is key, it will not cause you to miscue. The miscue comes from you dropping your shoulder or bending your arm where you shouldn't, or just simply scooping under the cue ball because you did not hit the cue ball, but you actually hit the table first. So let's put it all together. You've got a good quality tip and chalk. You have your stroke as level as possible given the situation. If you have to shoot over a ball or you have to shoot at a ball that's close to the rail, things are going to change. You have good follow through and you're hitting that cue ball as low as possible without miscuing. If you don't know what your spot is, where you have the stroke to hit this cue ball low, you need to shoot it dozens and dozens of times, maybe hundreds of times, to find out where your sweet spot is, and then work your way down. But if you watch the greatest players in the world, they're hitting that cue ball scary low each and every time. So understand that the better you get at it, the lower you'll be able to hit it, and this is what's going to allow you to get this proper backspin to make those long draw shots. So keep in mind that cue ball is spinning backwards the whole way down table, and that's what's going to allow you to make that draw. Good follow through gets you a good draw. A level cue gets you a good draw. A sturdy bridge gets you a good draw. All of these things put together, you have a dynamic draw shot. If you have to reach over a ball, the only thing changes is the angle that you're shooting at and your contact point. You're going to need to follow through even if you're reaching over another ball. I'm going to leave you guys with a few drills to work on. Keep in mind that the point of the draw shot is not to look flashy. The point of the draw shot is to get position on your next ball. So I'm going to leave you some drills that'll help you learn to get position on your next ball. This little semicircle drill requires you to be in position on the first shot through the 5th shot. You can't get to this last shot if you're out of position on even one of those other balls. So practice those short draw shots and getting in position for your next shot. This next drill is for you sickos out there like me who want your drills to be almost impossible to execute. This one we're playing 5 balls that are lined across the center of the table and playing position off the short rail as we come back on each shot. Another one that you have to be in perfect position on each shot or you can't execute the drill. On this one, I have to take a wicked turn to the right to get position on this one ball. And I don't think you're going to see any more because I missed that one ball. Anyway, we're shooting a little bank shot drill here. I like these drills because this forces you to practice your bank shots and practice your position. And the drill that we saw before this forces you to shoot long shots and practice your position. Any drill that allows you to practice two different things at the same time, I think are outstanding. They're far more difficult, but I think they're worth the effort. So thank you for watching. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. And once again, I want to thank all my subscribers. If you don't subscribe to this channel, get busy. Hit that subscribe button and hit that little bell so you know when we post more quality information for you. Have a great day.